Welcome, everybody. It's time for another Hollywood Godfather podcast. And we have a very special guest today. And she happens to be selling her birthday with us, celebrating her birthday with us. And she happens to be the mother of our co host, Jeannie
That's
and
right.
Patricia. How are you, my darling? Happy birthday to everybody out there. We all
Oh,
going to sing to her later.
Right.
whatever.
I'll tell you what, not everybody gets to get serenaded by Gianni Russo on their birthday. So, you know,
Well, she's a special person. Hello.
that's exactly right. Well, this is my mom. I drug her on here with us and
Well, let's raise our glass and
that's
wish her
right.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Patricia, happy birthday, my darling.
Well, thank
To
you very
you.
much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I might even get another one. Next year I'll be 90. So
God bless. Well,
I
but maybe
hope I
well,
make
we'll
it
have
that long.
maybe we'll come to you over there. See,
There you go.
Yeah, I got Jeannie's grandson that I like to watch play ball, and I got to be around to watch him one more year.
well, you did a great job because I know Jeannie is following in your footsteps.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I know it's actually a sad thing, but I have such great memories. I last time I saw my grandmother, I was 6.5 years of age.
Ah,
And up until that time, I saw her every day for
mhm.
6.5 years. Then I went in the hospital and she couldn't come because I was highly contagious. I was in the hospital for 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
5 years.
I had polio in 1949.
I
And
have
that turned out well, fortunately.
with the polio too. Sheila.
You
Uh,
had polio too?
no, I didn't. My niece, my sister's
Oh, yeah.
girl.
Oh, that
She
was a
was
big thing then. Forget it.
Yeah, she was like 3 when she went
Uh,
to the hospital. I
no,
don't know.
we've lived through so many great historical things and some tragic, but fortunately, I'm still here. I'm only
Yeah.
82. I'm right behind you. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
all good.
you look good.
I feel good. It's that's the most important thing to me. I don't care what age you are, as long as you're healthy and
Yeah.
happy.
well, Gianni, I swear you're always, I don't know. I was going to look back and figure out when it was I started doing this with you. And you are always in such good spirits and always happy. And you make the most of every day. And it's just such an inspiration because I mean, the stuff you've fought through. I see people that aren't, they get down in the dumps and they just don't try to drag themselves back around. And I look at you, and maybe part of it, I'm sure a lot of it was just who you are, but as a kid, you don't sit and worry about the stuff that adults do. But I remember just you saying you sitting in the polio ward and working your arms and your muscles with bicycle tubes, and you had that fighting spirit, which makes it so cool. But you've never let anything
But
drag
I
you down.
think I attribute that to my childhood. I
Yeah,
had to survive. I wasn't
right,
playing baseball or hide and seek. I was
right,
trying to live.
right.
2,300 kids died in that ward in five
Oh
years.
wow.
Oh, oh my
So,
God.
and that's always been, I've always looked at, my cup is always half full, not half empty.
Right. Well,
But, but thank
more
you.
people need to take your follow your lead, because it's so easy to get down in the dumps, but it's like you're not
Well,
gonna.
unfortunately, it's it. Time. I mean, I've never seen such doom and gloom as now in all my years. Patricia, you must be seeing it too. I've
I
never
know.
seen so much tragedy and hatred, and everybody's bitter.
Yeah, everybody thinks they're a victim and I want to get
Yeah.
even with somebody else. And
Well, see,
yeah,
and you two ladies inspire me because she's always telling me, Jeannie, she's going to support her grandchildren and this and that. And I'm finding out that's what you do. You're at every game sitting next to her. I love it.
Gianni, I told my son one time, I said, I was asking my son if he was going to one of the other grandkids' games, and he's like, oh no, it's raining or snowing or whatever out there. And I said, gotta go. This woman set the bar way too high. How many grandkids are there?
I don't know. There's
There's-
over 35.
Yeah,
35 grandchildren.
Well, half of those are great grandchildren,
Great-grandkids.
and then the
Oh,
rest are
good,
great
good.
great grandchildren.
and she,
Well,
Everybody-
you're looking at a guy who has 10 of his own kids. I have 6 grandsons and 6 granddaughters. So I got 20 myself, just by myself.
yeah, he said someone invited him once for Thanksgiving and he said, oh, you don't want my family there, take a bus to get this crew over.
No, I said, how big is your house? And the guy said, what kind of question is that? I said, how big is your house? He said, why? I said, well, my immediate family, we're 37 people, just us.
Yeah, Gianni he's got kids here and there. He's
I
been,
have 10 different mothers to my children. I
hey,
was a little promiscuous when I was younger.
yeah,
I blame it on my boat. My boat attracted all these wonderful people.
couldn't hurt, right? Well,
So we're doing a mailbag show, right?
that's right. That's right. I forget we get chit-chatting.
Well,
All
let's
right.
sing happy birthday to Patricia
Oh,
first.
I'm not singing all of it.
Everybody out there, we're ready to sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Patricia. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you, and you've got a really good voice.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
You're practicing just singing happy birthday for me.
Well, Mom, obviously I haven't coached my mom too much on listening to our podcast. Tell her, if you will, who your singing coach was, Gianni.
Oh, Frank Sinatra.
Mm.
I'm the only person in the world. In fact, I was just reading about Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was my only acting teacher. Frank Sinatra was my only singing teacher. And right up till, he passed, we were friends for 46 years. He baptized my son Luciano, and he helped me in so many ways. And yet basically coached me to become a singer. And that's the only reason I'm a singer. He did it.
Yes,
And then
he
he put me out there on the stages because he had the power. And he helped me open a big nightclub that I owned in Vegas called State Street, which was 14,000 square feet. It was huge. And he came for 3 days with Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, opened it, took no money. And that's kind of person he was. So
Wow.
I've had great mentors, fortunately. Patricia, being it's your birthday, you should have the first question. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Well, I just heard rumors that Tom Jones and Engelbert weren't friends.
Oh my God, they're good friends of mine. Yep. Engelbert more so than
Of each
Tom.
other. Were they friends with each other? I was heard they didn't like each other.
No, they're good friends with each other. Well, most performers like that are, and they all come from overseas.
Uh-huh.
I think they both had the same manager for a long time, and but Engelbert and I got really close. I know his kids, and he comes to my house, and I visit him at different places. We were all together in Baku, Azerbaijan this summer, doing a big show there.
Mm.
But no, most entertainers I don't like. They're too pompous and too full of themselves. I won't mention the few of them, but he's just a down-to-earth guy. He's very lonely right now. He was married for 55 years,
Oh, wow.
and he lost his wife. And the last few of those years, even, I had, unfortunately, the opportunity to know what was going on. She had dementia and didn't even know him, which was
Really?
that's something that thank God. I think most of my faculties are still here.
Gianni, your memory is impeccable. I mean, my favorite is when we have a guest on. And the one I think of all the time is the Fountain Blue guy. His dad ran Fountain Blue.
Oh my God, that was
And,
like my.
and as soon as he started talking and you started throwing out names, he was shocked at all the people that you knew and the people that ran around, and he was a young kid growing up around
Yeah,
there.
I mean, to me, well, I got thrown into the mix early on because, Costello, who took me under his wing as my father image, and I was exposed. Well, he owned the Copacabana, number one.
Oh,
So at 13, I met my first mentor was Frank Sinatra. When I found out we shared the same birthday, December 12th, and then I met him 3 years later, and he couldn't believe it.
mm,
And we stayed friends until I was friends with Sinatra for 46 years.
oh,
That
wow.
weird? I was one of his last visitors that went
Wow.
to see him at his house.
So Gianni,
Hmm.
so I always picture you like 20-ish when you talk about all this thing. So when you were a kid, did you just look like a teenage kid hanging around in a corner? Or-
No, I was 13 when I got out of Bellevue, just turning 13, and I was part, I don't want to say dwarfed. I don't like to say
You were
retarded.
Yeah.
just smaller, right? Is that what you're
My
saying?
left side my left side of my body was totally different than my right side. My
Uh,
leg was smaller, my arm. So my first business, Patricia, I started selling ballpoint pens. They just came out,
oh,
and a guy's name was Leo Rabinowitz on Delancey Street. He lent me 50 pens every day, and if I sold 20, I paid for them. I replenished it, and I started a business, and I did that for about 3 years and made a lot of. People would give me $1 for a pen that I spent 10 cents for. So it's and then the guy Frank Costello come by. He would never take a pen, but always give me a $10 bill or $5 bill every day he came because that was on his route to the Waldorf. I used to stay in front of the Sherry Netherlands Hotel, uptown. I
mm,
took the train up. But I'm so blessed. I have tomorrow. I've been on such edge. Tomorrow I have one of the biggest meetings in the world for me. I could talk about it because I'm in negotiations with them. Netflix is
oh,
is optioning my book that's been a bestseller for 6 years to do 8 1 hours of it, and they want to option my other two books. That's insanity.
yeah.
Well, and
That's the
they
kind of life I have.
right. I'll tell you, if you are the poster boy for if life gives you lemons,
Oh,
make
well,
lemonade.
yeah, for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I was in a full body brace. I didn't know it. I was awarded the state of New York. So they used my picture. They have to get permission. Then, that was, you were
Yeah.
there, we owned you. And they never thought I'd get out. But all of this stuff come back to me now, and it just give, shows you the stepping stones of how I achieved what I did. And most of it was helped from by other people. I didn't know
Right.
what I was doing.
Well,
But thank God for Costello.
right. And you say you're one side of your body. I've seen you in person. You that's the thing. You have fought to and worked hard because you don't look like one side smaller than another. You walk great.
No, but
You have overcome.
even when it was still dwarfed, I used to buy two. I used the guy. I was the guy who used to go to shoe stores, Tom McCann's. I remember. And
Yeah.
I used to give me a size 9 and a size 10. He said, "Well, what do you wear?" I said, "I don't know. Bring me to both pairs." And I'd switch them. I'd take the 10 from my right foot and the 9 from my left foot.
Someone get home, they're cussing you every store. That's amazing. Well, talk about perseverance and I've told you before, I have a friend that she had a stroke and then had another one at 50 years old. And I'll tell you, she's incredible. And nothing, I go around her and I'm completely humbled by she works her butt off. And at
That's
one
what it's
point they
about.
just said she's gonna die. She's not gonna be able to eat, drink, or swallow. And she's riding a bike. She's back to riding horses. She has busted her butt and she is such an inspiration. And I mean, there's so many people that run across some bad times and just
Collapse.
But
collapse
they just
and
succumb to it.
right, succumb. That's exactly it. And then there's the people that are like, baloney, I'm gonna, you
Well,
know,
that's funny, because after a while, I was in a 20-bed ward, and I became friends with this kid, Robbie Martucci, and our both foots of our beds, he was right across from me, and he just gave up. He starved himself to death.
Oh,
He just wouldn't eat. He didn't want to be there. And then one day, I woke up and they were scrubbing his bed and they said he went to heaven. And I'm a good Catholic. And I'm saying, God, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want
yeah,
to,
I'm not ready.
it was that kind of a
7, 8
thing.
years
But,
old.
no, some people don't, they just don't care.
Yeah.
There's a reason for
Give
it.
up.
Just to want to live that way. Huh?
Let's
Wow.
talk about good things. It's Patricia's birthday.
That's
Yeah.
right.
No
That's
doom
right.
and gloom today.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Boom. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, she's a goer. So this is since we're talking about as we get a little older. Oh, I didn't write this gal's name down. She said, I think she thinks there must be a community somewhere. She said, where do mobsters go when they retire?
To jail.
She said, are there towns where I know the joke here we're in Utah, right? And so everybody, they call them the snowbirds. They all go to Arizona for the winter where it's warm. So is there any town that's got, retired mobster town that you know of?
Well, any mobsters I knew that were out and able to retire, they all moved to Florida, which I would never go.
yeah.
Yeah, they went to the warmer climate, which a lot of people do. I walked into this apartment. Patricia, this apartment's 12 rooms
Wow.
on 61st Street in New York. It's insanity. That's my dining room behind me. I got to go this way. It's 16, it sits 16 people.
I keep swearing to show up there one day.
It's 2,700 square feet in New York City. It's insanity.
Wow.
And this
I
is
walked in there when I was 13. It was a cold night. I left the Copa, and he said, "You going back downtown?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you have the keys to go to 223. That's the name of the address. That's the number, the street number. We would never give the streets because then the police would know where we were going. So we only used the house address, 223 61st Street. So he said, go to 223, get out by 10 in the morning, which I was out anyway. And I never left. I've been here since I'm 13.
That's incredible. Yeah, in fact, hopefully all of our listeners have checked out Fox Nation, and Eric Shawn came and was in your place there.
Yeah.
Talking about his show, and like I said, on Fox Nation, called Frank Costello, the Real Life Godfather. And boy, what a great interview. And so fun to get to hear you talk more about the person that raised you,
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear him talk. I don't know why. That was the first time I ever heard him speak. So it was Frank Costello.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard him
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was known. I mean, that the Kefauver commissions, the first commissions that were televised. And he said, I'll be on camera, but you can't photograph my face. So they said, what do you mean? You can photograph my hands. And he had such intrigue. Anytime he spoke, they only saw his hands.
Right.
He had such a gravelly voice. He had a typical gangster voice.
Oh, absolutely.
But he didn't want anybody to see his face because he didn't want to be recognized on the street.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, I mean, he taught me so many brilliant things. And I mean, I would have to say he mentored me from 13 till he died. In 73, he died. And he left me this and a couple other things.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Some incredible things.
Well, did you live in Las Vegas for a while?
Yeah. Well, I have homes at a lot of places because I have mothers. Every time I have a child, I buy him a house. People thought I was in real estate. But I wanted to, I'm a believer that the mother should stay home with the kid.
Mm.
So the good news, these girls, whatever they were doing, I say, if you're going to have the baby, you got to quit. And I opened a trust for the unborn baby, but and I did it business wise. So she would govern the trust and get 15% as the governor of the trust of the kid. But you can never cohabit the house with a boyfriend, can never do any of that. And I had people watching because I wasn't going to have, create a playground for her. Forget about it. But anyway, it worked out well. The bad news is nobody got married. They loved the deal.
Oh, Gianni.
It's funny. I just talked to one of my sons who's 63 now.
Oh.
And I said, is that your mother? He says, yeah. I said, she's still with you. She says, where's she going to go? Come on. She wouldn't go nowhere. She's still with him.
Oh,
Which is
Gianni, you're
good.
making my face hurt today.
Hmm.
So Florida answers her question. That's where all the old mobsters go. You know,
'Cause they're
we had
off the coast.
yeah, Bobby Luisi, is that his name?
Who?
It was my first Bobby Luisi, or oh gosh, I'm not good at these Italian names, but one of the first people that I was on here and interviewed with, and we had talked and said, a lot of the people that were rivals when they were young have kind of just that's not a big deal anymore. So maybe
No,
there is
yeah.
a little subdivision full of mobsters that are just like over it.
It's all over with. I mean, I'm fortunately, and I say this proudly, fortunately, my family is still in control in Palermo for 400 years. So when people say, is the mafia still around? Yeah, they are. In fact, they're my relatives. But
Yeah.
they're into big business more now than ever. But one of their big businesses is drugs, unfortunately. But I have nothing to do with it. But I couldn't. I have liquor licenses all over the world. I'm a legitimate guy, and they wanted me to be, and thank God. But here I am
Yeah, you've done
again.
incredible.
I reaped the good from the bad.
Well, I've never known anyone to just look at every situation and make it just good for everyone involved,
Well,
Where-
that's funny because like we're talking about Netflix right now,
right.
and they had a conversation with me today, and I said, I'm really proud you're interested in me. And they said, we've been trying to find a character. I said, I'm not a character. They said, oh, yes, you are. I said,
Oh yeah.
they said, we've been trying to find someone that's been such a part. I've been a part of 75 years of American history. I was with JFK as inaugural at 17. I was with Saddam Hussein. It was all these people, 3 popes. They said, this is going to be an ongoing legacy that we want the privilege of. I said, well, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for my life rights.
You don't play with Gianni Russo for free. I'm lucky.
Oh, no, I think, well, no, we've already talked about you also
Well,
coming on the show. No, we got to do it. It's got to be all that. I think we're
Well-
going to have a lot of fun with it.
well, that's right. So should we take a second to throw in a commercial break here?
What's
Throw
that?
in- Should we throw in a commercial real quick, make a little money?
Oh, yeah. And Mike, show them that what I'm doing on May 2nd, please.
Right. All right.
We'll be right back. Hey, it's Gianni Russo, a.k.a. Carlo from The Godfather. Now, I got an offer you can't refuse, and you shouldn't refuse, because it's that time of the year again. Friday, May 9th and 10th, it's PaisanCon at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey. And get the information below from the website, you get the times and all that, and just come by, because all your favorite gumaris and gubars are going to be there from every motion picture you ever saw in your life, including a couple of mine. So don't forget, okay? Friday, May 9th to 10th, Paisan Khan. I'll be looking for you. Okay, we're back. And remember, Patricia's still here, everybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
And prayers and stuff for her for her birthday, please.
Yeah. Getting an education.
That's right.
What's that?
And getting an education. This is all very.
Oh, yeah. Well,
interesting
yeah.
to me.
Unfortunately, you can get one from me, but may not be good. I'm not a history teacher.
Yeah.
I am in a way. Yeah, I am.
In a way, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. So I can't read this guy's handle here, but one guy said, did the mobsters hide the Black Panthers that were on the run? Do you know anything about that in the 1960s?
Well, I know they had relationships with the Black Panthers, Hells Angels, because they called them in. They said, you're creating havoc in our town, in our whatever. They didn't say, stop, we get a piece of it, or you're out of here. That's their mentality.
I'm catching on to where you learned that money-making skill.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. And this other guy's name is Phil something, and we sure appreciate, please keep sending us your questions. He said, now that they've torn down the Tropicana, you must have lots of stories about that place. Can you give us a story about the Tropicana?
Well, the Tropicana, I found out because I went out there to hide for a while after the Kennedy assassination. Not that I had anything to do with it, but they thought, they wanted to talk to me. So I went out there only to find out that Joe Kennedy and Frank Costello owned it.
The Tropicana?
Tropicana Hotel. They owned it. So now you can only imagine me. I go there and I look for this guy, Nick Tanner, who's running it. And he was from Detroit. I happen to know who he was with. And I was getting bored. And I called Costello. I said, how long am I going to stay? He said, just stay there. He said, open something. So I opened my first nightclub called Tiffany's. And I have a new friend at the time who opened up the International Hotel for Kirk Kerkorian. His name was Elvis Presley. So I used to send my limo to pick him up every night and bring him over to me because my club opened at midnight. He got off at stage at 1:30, and he'd come with me and stay till 6 in the morning.
Oh.
So my business accolades, once he started coming, I had all the PBX operators call all the cab companies to let them know Elvis Presley's at this new club at the Tropicana called Tiffany's, and I was an overnight success.
I bet.
Oh, that's crazy. So we go to eat sometimes up the street. There's a little place, Steiny's, and the guy that owns that, he used to be a valet parker for Gianni at his club, Gianni Russo State Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to park cars for him and with Gianni's nephew. And
Uh,
we go there all the time. So it's so funny that out of all the occupations he could have, he's got a little club here. I mean, it's nothing like State Street, I can
Well, no,
guarantee.
but I mean that I hear this story so much because even the kid he's talking about was Gino Lapinto because I don't forget people's names.
Right.
Gino today owns a nightclub in Miami called 11. It's open 24 hours a day. They just built a 56-story hotel and sold it out. This is one of my kids. They own one of
Is he your nephew? Gino,
No,
your
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I mean, there's so many people that through all
They
your
became
successes-
entrepreneurs. I love it. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Well, I'm a great example because I'm a
Oh.
dropout. I'm an illiterate. So if I could do it, anybody could do it, and it's proof.
Yeah, it is true. And I've you listen to different things and not everybody has the same skills. There wouldn't be people out there building buildings if we were all accountants, and I'll tell you what, I can't build a house, but I can help a veteran every day, so we all have just different things to make the world go around.
That's
And
it. I mean, that's the one thing I did do. Somebody told me, somebody told me. Frank Costello told me, he said, remember one thing, you can't do everything, but what
right,
you do it good.
exactly.
That's it. And that's all I ever did.
Well, and that's the thing. You learned what you were good at, and you've made a big career out of it, and still are doing it, and still
Huge.
having a ball. That's my favorite part, Gianni, is that every day you're happy and I mean, you do more in a week than most 50-year-olds. You know, you and Julia are on the run all the time.
Well, Julia's that, what attracted to me earlier on, I dated her 31 years ago.
I love
And I
that.
didn't want to destroy her because she's such a nice girl. I said, if we're
She
meant
don't
to
be
be,
around
we'll
me.
meet again. And we did. Now we're together the last 4 years. But
Right.
she came here, one-way ticket from Ireland with $20.
She's
Uh,
awesome.
And the
Ireland?
girl built an empire for herself. So to me, I'm attracted to those people too.
Right.
She had no background. And she had a big family living on a farm, and they sent her here to relatives in Brooklyn. And here we are.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And she's become a big asset to me because I put her in some of my companies, and we're having fun.
Exactly.
I love having fun.
Yes.
And if I can make money with it, oh, I'm ecstatic.
That's a win-win. Win-win. Well, that's amazing. All right, let's see. So we talked about my mom's favorite, Willie Nelson. Have you ever met?
Right. Oh my God, yeah, I love Willie. I
Isn't he
met him
awesome?
early on. I mean, yeah, he's a very private person, but it's interesting when he's out like I am out, and I'm very private too. I don't go wandering the streets for people to say hello to me, but he's achieved so much. I think he's in his 90s now, isn't he?
93.
Yeah,
93. Oh,
and still
wow.
performing.
Yes.
No, they're inspirations to me because I figure I got another 10 years.
That's right. Well, he's got a son that sings now too, that's also really, really good. Do you have any sons that are singers or daughters?
In the film business or anything?
No, that sing.
Sings?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
they sing.
I don't know that I would know if they did, believe me.
Professional.
You'd
Yeah.
want me to give them a record contract or something. I'm not singing. No,
Yeah.
but you know what the funniest thing? I've said this, maybe I haven't said it enough, but I never went out with a girl and needed a rent paid because I met him on my boat.
Oh,
Patricia, when I was 21, I bought a boat for $3 million.
That's
Cash,
right.
20.
148-foot Riva. And I
Oh,
had it parked in Monaco because I was good friends with Grace Kelly. And
oh,
she
yeah.
was the Princess of Monaco. Why wouldn't I be there?
Yeah.
So I would go there in April and spend the whole summer with the Red Cross ball. So who am I going to meet with a princess? Rich people, rich girls.
Yeah.
And
That's
then, I
the
don't know
smart.
how it happened, but after 3 or 4 months, I've been notified I'm going to be a father by telex, telegram, phones, every means of communication.
Gianni, you're like, I've had every way. Those reveals are no big deal. You should have heard the
No,
one.
but I mean, I love children, but I was
Go live
very
with
honest up front. I told them I don't change diapers. I don't live in the same house.
them.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, they could be annoying little things.
Oh,
And I can
Why
understand why
not?
some of
I
my
want to
kids
be around
don't
them.
like me. I wouldn't like me either. What I did do is give them a house and education. And now you're on your own.
Yeah.
I did it. You could do it. You're educated. I had a kid call me recently. I said, wait a minute. Didn't I send you like the 3 major Ivy League schools? He said, yeah. I said, you're calling me? I'm
yeah.
illiterate. I can't help you.
What can I
Oh,
do
you got a
for
lot
you?
of money. I said, well, you get your own money like I did. Go out and find something you could do. I don't write checks. I don't have a red suit and a white beard on.
Oh. What am I, Santa Claus? Beat it, kid. Oh, Gianni, you make me laugh.
Yeah.
Poor grandma, she could have used your advice a long time ago.
Yes.
She's got 30 kids bugging her all the time.
But, you know, as little as I know about you, I pick up on what you do. And I hear every time you say, I got my own home, I did it finally. These are achievements. You raised your children. These are achievements. They're harder and sometimes doing what you're doing and getting it done than these people opening business and closing them, opening them, closing them. Get the hell out of here, you know.
Yeah, that's the truth, Gianni. There's a lot more heartache putting up with the heartbreak and the trials and tribulations of what she had 5 daughters, for crying out loud. Poor gal. So I mean, talk about a challenge. 5 daughters, and then we've all had a ton of kids and kids and kids. But she truly is the when you talk about the matriarch of the family, the entire family, my kids, they all just, she is royalty in our family. All those kids worship grandma, and
Well,
she's,
even when you talk to me about your little grandchildren, how they adore you, that's what gift is that? You can't buy that. That's
right.
genuine love. You can't influence it. You know, I used to tell people, you won't believe what I used to tell some women. I'd say, "Can I ask you a question? Do drunks like you and children?" This, what are you talking about?
Do what?
Do drunks and children like you? Because they're oblivious. If they like you, you have something to offer. You can't influence a kid. A kid can see through everything. They know.
Yeah.
You hold their hand, they know.
Yeah.
Boy, that's the true test.
No, it's when you get down to it, and I'm sure your mother could attest to it. When you get down to it, it's just common sense. If you are a good person and you're doing right, you'll be done right. You give what you put in, you get out. If you ain't putting nothing in, you ain't getting nothing out. So forget it.
Well, she's done more than her share, because she did it pretty much by herself, and took care of all of us kids, and still Saturday on her birthday was, we ran to the basketball game for my little grandson that's 12. I put some pictures of him showing off on Instagram, and then we had a quick birthday lunch for her, and we jumped back in the car and ran back to the game. And I'm like, and she's with us every step of the way. Just,
That's what
I
she
mean,
wanted to do. That's
absolutely.
just to
I
sit
love
there
being
and see
around
the
it.
smiles on all these kids' faces. They're appreciating her. What a wonderful thing. We're going to take her to Marie Callender's with a bunch of old ladies don't even like her. They're all jealous. Forget about it.
Well, Gianni, a while back, a dog knocked her down, or she tripped, and she broke her hip. And the doctor came in and said, "Oh, okay, we'll fix you up. And do you have any questions?" And I said, "Yeah, she wants to know if she has to cancel her tea time next Tuesday." And he said, "What?" He's like, you're way younger than anybody in that age bracket I've ever seen." And said, "I better not give you this kind of surgery. I better give you that, or you'd be really mad at me." But
Do
she
you
still
play
called.
golf yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's
not
why.
so well, but I have fun. And I'm going tomorrow.
I took up golf when I was 60 years old. And in the first few months, I lost so much money on my business. I got so involved with this game, I was going to play golf instead of going to the office. People are waiting for me. It's
Were
very
you good?
addictive. You have to have
Yeah.
a lot of time,
Yeah. It
which is
takes a
great.
little bit.
If you have the time and perfect. I'm
Yeah.
not
Were you
there
good, Gianni? Were you good at it?
yet. Well, like anything else, I went, I went over to China with my one of my partners, the Bachwin brothers. Their mother's Chinese. That's why there's so much Chinese artifacts here. And I got to know their mentality, and I studied under hypnosis because I wanted to learn fast things. And the dedication that you put into golf, if you don't concentrate and you don't do, you're only competing against yourself, nobody else. That's why I like the game, you know. But I broke 100 in 6 months. People said
Oh,
that's
wow.
insanity because I focus. It's like Tai Chi. When I'm looking at that ball, I'm not thinking of going where I'm gonna have a drink next. I'm gonna complete the ball. And I was driving over 300. They couldn't believe it at 60. But
Wow.
but then it got obsessed me, and I equated it as, wait a minute, every hour of every day I want to make X amount of dollars. I've always been that way. Now I'm over here for 5 hours. How much should I make? Nothing. I'm betting money, and these guys are beating me $100 a hole. What am I, crazy? Get the hell out of here.
You're like and I know you, Gianni. You're making money somewhere every day. Give it just
Oh
for
yeah, I mean I
look at that ring.
somebody told me if you're not making money while you're sleeping, you're not doing it. And I realized what that meant.
While you're
That's
sleeping.
why I get up at 4 o'clock. I
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to Sicily. I got companies in Liechtenstein now. I'm in 73 countries. They
Oh,
got to eat. They got to drink wine. They got to. So I sell it to them.
yeah.
That's right. I know I have one right here. This is probably can be our last question because we've had such a fun time talking and we can always do more. Tell us about a time when you were working with Costello, when you were afraid, when you got scared. Because you've
Never,
always been never.
never.
I love
I
that.
never had fear. Once I got out of the hospital, I thought there was an angel on my shoulder. Patricia, I don't know if you know how, a pedophile attacked me when I was 12 years old in
Uh,
the hospital.
in the hospital?
In the hospital. He was a therapist, a physical therapist.
Uh,
Now I was 12. I was going to be a good looking kid. And Dolores Barone, who was my floor nurse, warned me about him. But I didn't know about pedophiles, and it wasn't exploited like it is today.
yeah.
Right.
And this guy thought he was going to have his way with me. I killed him
He had a broom handle, right?
with a broom handle.
With the
When
broom?
she told me about it, I used to drag myself out of bed because they wouldn't give me the bedpan anymore. They encouraged us to get out of bed. So I've been dragging myself all over. Well, I'm dragging myself. My right side of my body, fortunately, was all healthy, but it was like iron. 5 years I'm dragging myself around.
Yeah.
And one day, and I believe in omens, I believe in God, there was a broom handle blocking my way on the rail. So I got the broom handle with my good hand. I put it under my bed and I went to the bathroom. When I got to the bathroom, I still don't know why, to today's day, I broke off the bristles, threw it in and covered it with paper towel. And I always sat in stall 4 because 24 hours a day I'm in the hospital. I used to go to the bathroom how many times. It just got me out of bed.
Yeah.
But in the nighttime, like most kids, I was afraid of the dark. And stall 4 had the best illumination. And here comes this guy. But what he didn't realize, that 3 foot stick of the broom handle, when I was in the bathroom, I used to file it in the grout of the tile on the floor. It was like a spear. And the
What?
radiators were hung horizontally. So that's why I always went to stall 4. Not only for the illumination, I had this weapon that I was ready for this guy coming, if he was coming. Sure enough, he came. He came and he never left.
You knew what he was. Yeah.
He had been warned.
Well, it's funny because, again, reflecting on Netflix, they said we've never had a subject. Because fortunately, my book, Hollywood Godfather, on Amazon, it's 6 years a bestseller. I have 2 more books coming. I have another book coming out now, November 25th, Mafia Secrets, which is already getting tremendous reviews. And my audience must be saying, well, he told me he's illiterate. But today I just record it and they transcribe it. I don't spell anything.
Yeah.
What they said, they never had a person. I never spent a day in jail. I was not tried on, but I had an inquest for 31 days. Pope John Paul, your daughter could, there's pictures of me with him. He gave me, in fact, he gave me this beautiful gift. And I don't know if you could see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've seen
I
it. It's
Yeah, right here.
beautiful.
Yeah.
He
He
gave me
gave you
this
that? Oh,
in 94. It's an amazing gift. And now he's a saint. My kids go to school in Puglia, and we named the school after him now because we spent money and rebuilt it. And my kids say, Papa, you know a saint. When you think about it, who knows a saint? I know a guy who's a saint. Why
Yeah.
I'm saying is that's how crazy my life is, but that's what it's about. To be, it's if you believe, do it, go after it. If you think you could do it, you'll wind up doing it.
I love that, Gianni, and it's such a good message to send to so many people that, you know, when I was young, way back when, I listened to a guy that said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I'm thinking, if you're looking at things like this is going to work or things are going to get better, then they're going to get better. But if you look at it the other way, I mean, you could have been like those people in the polio ward and given up.
My God,
So I
yeah.
love your message.
No, to me, I mean, I am so blessed. I pray constantly for people during the day. And that's what happened to me. People prayed for me. I know they did.
Yeah.
And. And Patricia, thank you for sharing your birthday with us.
oh,
Oh.
thank
In
you.
fact, you are the first person we shared a birthday with.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was you, to you.
Yes, well, yeah.
We're drinking some
Let's end with that. Happy birthday again, Patricia. God bless you. And next year, you're going to be on the show again.
When I'm 90,
Why
well,
not?
if Willie Nelson can do
What do
it,
you
I
mean?
guess.
Did I just hear you say if?
Yeah.
You will be
There you go,
90.
Gianni. Give her hell.
You will be 90. No ifs about it.
Gianni, I just have to tell you, the last week I've just been like holding my breath because she used to say, well, I always thought I'd die at 88. And I told my daughter, you better call your grandma because she's
You got
only,
to take that negativity out, my love.
that's right.
I would never believe knowing you would say something like that. Seriously.
Well, I just had a brother, two sisters that died at 88, so I just figured that was our number.
I'll give you a reason to live.
That's
Okay.
right.
Your grandchildren want you to.
Oh, yeah. And I love just being
You
around
can't
them.
disappoint them. Sorry. Now you can't leave.
No. Well, and my little grandbaby that's 3, I'm like, you got to stick around. We lost my sister a year ago, and I'm thinking, I can't believe she's going to grow up not knowing my sister. So I'm like, yeah, now you're stuck. You got to do a few more years so these little kids get to know. But hey, she's been a great influence to all of us, and I thank you for.
Now I know where your daughter gets her charm, everything about it. But God bless both of you. To our audience, thank you for tuning in. And what else is to say?
Yeah.
God bless.
Thank
Happy
you very
birthday.
much. Yes,
right.
we need God's blessing.
That's right. All right, Gianni, have a good night.
You too. You'll give the notes to Mike.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to
thank
meet you, my dear.
Okay.
We'll
Thank
see you again.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.